Hello everyone, this is Sweet Surprise, sharing another wonderful video. It's fall time and I have created some beautiful candy apples. The full tutorial of these beautiful candy apples, and it's like a plot twist because the colors that I use to make the candy actually gave me this color, and it's beautiful. Okay, so just showing you some of the things that you're going to need to get started. So here I have a large pot. It's sturdy, durable. I also have a thermometer. You'll need Karo syrup, which I have in the glass. You'll need your sugar. You'll need a durable spoon that can take the temperature. You will also need, now in this particular video, you'll need your color and also white and your flavoring. Now here I'm going to be using Jolly Ranchers here that I've placed in my watermelon flavor that I placed in my food processor and crushed them almost like to a consistency of sugar. I wanted to back up here and go over the optional flavoring. So I have LorAnn flavoring here if I wasn't using Jolly Rancher. I also have the hot pink here by Americolor. And I have the white food coloring by Chef Master. And you'll need this because if not, your candy apples, you'll be able to see through them, which is what we call translucent. So I just wanted to back up and give you a snapshot. So here, as you can see, I washed my candy apples the day before, and I will put the instructions below as far as how I wash those. And I have Gala apples, and I also have Granny Smith apples. And what I'm doing is I wipe it with a washcloth that's wet, and then I use a paper towel to dry them. And you kind of I always like to put a shine on them and make sure that I've gotten all of that goo off, which is what we call sap, on the apples as well. So I make sure I clean them very well, even down in where where the stem is located, and you pull it out, and you want to make sure that you just clean them very well, and shine them up. Okay, and so once you've cleaned them really well, then you want to start to insert the sticks for the candy apple. I always like to hold like a paper towel or a towel and press in. You don't want to go too far down in the apple, and because then you could damage the apple going all the way through. And then you want to take your paper towel and clean around where you've pressed in. Also, you want to make sure, and this is something that you need to make sure that you're doing, cleaning around where you've inserted that the candy, well, the stick for the candy apple, because if not, you will have bubbles. And I broke my own rule here and forgot to do that, so I did have some bubbles here, and you'll see that once I start dipping them. Now I cleaned them here and made sure I wiped them off, but then because I had just recently inserted those candy apple sticks, there was still some juice that had settled on top. So you want to make sure you thoroughly clean those and go back right before dipping your apples in the candy mixture. You want to make sure you go back and make sure, use a dry paper towel or something, or a dry towel, and get down in that area down there around where you inserted the candy apple to make sure there's no juice that has settled around that stick and at the top of your apple, because this will definitely create bubbles, which you do not want. You want to have a perfect apple. So Okay, so I'm finishing up the candy apples here, um, inserting each of the sticks into each of the candy apples. And like I said earlier, I have a few Gala apples, and I also have Granny Smith apples. Now, I have a preference for Granny Smith, which is what I use all the time, but I wanted to try something a little different this time. And you want to make sure that you are wiping those down really well, because that's going to be key in excuse me, getting that apple, the candy apple, to perfection. So you can see here that I have wiped them down, inserted the candy apple sticks in each of the apples, and now they are ready to go. Um, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to make sure that you thoroughly do this, because not only juice settling on the top will create bubbles, but also if you don't wipe them down and get all that gook off. Okay, so now I am inputting everything in my pot, the rest of the sugar, because I already have sugar in, putting my Karo syrup in, my water, and I'm going to be stirring it, getting it ready. I have added a few drops here of the white food coloring. You want to start off with that, because if not, you will be able to see through your apples. You don't want that. So I'm adding a little bit more, and this is really what you want. Now I'm adding in a mirror color, the hot pink, and to achieve the color you want, this is going to be up to you. I always do less as opposed to more, and that depends on the color that you want, because you cannot take away if you put too much in, but you can add more. So I'm adding a little bit more to get to a certain color. Also, I'm going to be adding a little bit more here, because it wasn't quite what I wanted. So now I'm there, as far as the color that I want. And also with this, make sure, now you're going to be cooking this to 300 degrees. You want to keep an eye on the thermometer, because you do not want to burn this and have to start over. It's very important. This is not something that you can walk away from and just let it go. You want to keep an eye on it. So I am setting my stove here to medium-high heat, and I've stirred it very well. And also I'm going to be adding my thermometer here as well. And you want to make sure that thermometer does not touch the bottom, because if so, it will give you a false read. And you don't want that. You want to cook it specifically to 300 degrees. Do not go over, because if you do, it will burn it, and then that's just wasted time and product and effort. So you don't want to do that. Okay, so my mixture is finished, and I've started to dip my candy apples. And I was having some issues with the camera. My grandson, he did a great job, and my son started to help me as well. But I am dipping the candy apples here, as you can see, and they are beautiful, and you just want to shake, because you don't want coasters at the bottom of your apple. And so basically, I am just dipping, and we're going to continue, and so you can see how beautiful these come out. It's just absolutely beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? And it's a beautiful color, and I'm just shaking it here basically. And I was just really amazed at the color that I got and it was absolutely, it's fall time. Some people say autumn, and this is a beautiful color for this time of year. So I was able to achieve it, you know, using the method that I did. And I know the Jolly Rancher uh, watermelon flavor also impacted that as well. Um, and to be quite honest, I had to take it off the stove really quick, because it got right at that end there of cooking, and I noticed I'm gonna need another thermometer as well because I almost messed up. It's just not reading like it should, but I still had success. They turned out beautifully, and you want to always make sure your thermometer is working and it's reading properly. So I will continue to complete these and show you guys how beautiful they turned out. They were absolutely, and they are absolutely beautiful. So I really enjoyed this. And so also, I want you guys to like and subscribe here as well. I upload videos every week. So like and subscribe. And here also, you're going to notice that I had some bubbles on some of my apples on top because I broke my rule of going back right before dipping them and wiping around the top where I inserted the candy apple stick. So make sure that you do that. Go back and there's not any juice that's settled on top, because that will impact it and you'll have bubbles. So you want to make sure that you take care of that. And also here, I could have put the candy mixture back on the stove for just a second. But one thing about this candy mixture, it is very forgiving, and I like it. So that's something that turned out awesomely well, beautiful. And here is what you have. Aren't those beautiful? I really enjoyed this. And look at the shine. You can see the glare, and you can also see it's like a mirror. That is a beautiful candy apple. And so I really enjoyed this. Beautiful. And I also tied little bows here, as you can see. And presentation to me is everything, because you can have a great product, but if you don't present it in the right way, then all that work that you've done has gone to waste. And here's the finished product, and my client really loved this. The color is absolutely beautiful, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Like I said, please like and subscribe. Have a great day.